Tuesday, November 28th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, bringing you the latest local news, including the arrest this morning of a suspect in connection to a Stratford armed robbery. Donald Ang is in today for Frank Granito with your forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update. And later on, Don will also have your look back on this day in history. But first, on to today's news. Stratford police have made an arrest in connection with the Main Street robbery and shooting November 14th. This morning, 33-year-old Eric Chambers of Bridgeport was apprehended by members of the Fugitive Task Force as a result of a warrant issued for his arrest. Now, Stratford police say the arrest stems from his involvement in a robbery that took place at 2399 Main Street in Stratford, in which a victim, a bartender, there was shot. Now, the investigation and warrant were completed on November 21st, and Chambers has been charged with robbery in the first degree and is being held on a $250,000 bond. Now, police haven't released any more details. That robbery earlier this month happened at bar just before 7 p.m. The armed man demanded money and a bartender complied and then was shot, causing serious injuries. You can check for updates on that story at StratfordStar.com. And the Milford Police Department Special Investigation Unit is investigating a missing teen and asking for the public's help. Isabella Bellatheus, a 16-year-old white female about 5'6", 130 pounds with blonde and strawberry blonde hair and blue eyes, was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, black leggings, and carrying a red purse on November 25th in the afternoon in Milford. Now, Bella may be in the company of 19-year-old Kyle Godin of Pond Lily Avenue in New Haven. Anyone with information regarding her whereabouts is asked to contact the Milford Police Department at 203-878-6551. And in other news, a Monroe man who suffered serious injuries after being thrown off of the Derby-Shelton Bridge during an altercation the night before Thanksgiving is now out of the hospital. Shelton Police and Fire Department had responded to the Derby-Shelton Bridge at 1 a.m. Thursday morning for a report of a man in the water. Police and fire responding to the scene found that 30-year-old victim submerged. The victim's name has not been released. Officer David Eldridge swam out to the victim and pulled him to shore with the help of fire personnel. According to Shelton Police, Eldridge brought the male victim to shore, where he was then transported to Yale New Haven Hospital with serious injuries. Now, Detective Chris Nugent of the Shelton Police said the victim was released from the hospital over the weekend and required several stitches to wounds on his head. An investigation revealed that an altercation occurred on the bridge and the victim was thrown off. Now, Nugent declined to say whether suspects have been identified, but police are aware that there were witnesses to the incident and are asking anyone with information to contact them at 203-924-1544. And Hearst, Connecticut media reports that 3 people have been arrested after allegedly stealing items from a Westport pharmacy and leading police on a wrong-way chase on I-95. Now, Westport police say that this incident began around 2 a.m. Saturday when officers were dispatched to a report of a larceny from a local pharmacy. A description of the 2 male and 1 female suspects and their vehicle were provided to officers on patrol, who then found and tried to stop the car. Well, the vehicle would not pull over and stop for officers, who pursued it to the entrance ramp of I-95. That vehicle entered the entrance ramp of exit 17, traveling in the wrong direction, at which time that pursuit was terminated. Well, the vehicle then observed driving over the grass area and continuing southbound on I-95. A Westport officer followed the vehicle at a safe distance and saw that it left the highway in Norwalk before re-entering I-95 and going northbound. That was when state police began pursuing the car as it traveled. Now, with the assistance of Fairfield police, that vehicle was stopped on I-95 in the area of exit 24. The registration plate on the van was found to belong to a different car. That driver, 34-year-old Amanda Belcher, and 1 occupant, 35-year-old Komar Style, were arrested at the scene and turned over to Westport officers. One of those suspects, later identified as 43-year-old Calvin Smith, fled the vehicle and dropped a bag of stolen pharmacy merchandise as he did so. However, he was later located by Fairfield police and detained by Westport officers. And Darien police say 2 unlocked motor vehicles were stolen overnight from South Trail and West Avenue on November 17th. Now, according to police, neither victim believed that they had left their key in the car, but there were no signs of forced entry at either home. The 2 cars were a green 2000 Acura Integra and a gray 2016 BMW X3. The Acura was also said to have 2 car computers valued at $600. Now, 2 more Rebel Lane residents reported that their vehicles had been burglarized and rifled cycled through, but nothing was reported stolen. Police are investigating the incidents, but still request that all residents keep their cars locked wherever they park. And health officials have issued a warning about potentially tainted raw milk that was sold in New York and other states, including Connecticut. Now, the Journal News reports that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is advising anyone who consumed other milk products to seek medical attention. According to the CDC, people who drank raw milk from the company may have been infected with a rare germ called Brucella abortus RB51. Now, officials say a New Jersey woman became sick with the bacteria after consuming udder milk earlier this year. Authorities say udder milk operates in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Officials describe the company as a co-op on wheels that makes deliveries. Authorities are investigating udder milk supplier because the company hasn't reported its dairy source.
New Canaan Foreign Car. Yes, New Canaan Foreign Car has been servicing all makes of foreign cars for over 50 years. We also buy, sell, and consign cars too. We can help you with all your automotive needs from service to sales. Call us at 203-966-2681.
At Portofino Restaurant and Wine Bar in Bethel, fresh and simple food is our concept. Owned and operated by brothers Rocco and Louie, Portofino has a distinct and diverse food and drink menu. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come join us for live local music on Tuesdays and Sundays, Wednesday nights for mouthwatering prime rib, and every Thursday night is ladies' night. Planning a party? All our catering menus are personalized to suit your event and your budget. Join us at the Dolan Plaza, 213 Greenwood Ave, Bethel, and call us at 203-797-8131. Like us on Facebook.
No, it's your busy season, and that's why Walter Stewart's Market is here to make things easy by offering the best of autumn under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market is your local one-stop fall shop. There are so many seasonal flavors to savor, and Stewart's has them all, from Blue Jay Orchard's local cider donuts to Vermont Farmstead cheddar and all of your favorite varieties of local apples and pears. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and find us at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now at the Black Friday sales event. Ends November 30th.
At Black Horse Garage, we fulfill all your sports car needs. We specialize in manufacturer-recommended service and aftermarket high-performance parts and installation. We have one of the nation's top storage facilities and offer a high-end collision department that understands your need for detail. Visit blackhorsegarage.com for more.
Welcome back to this November 28th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. It's time to throw it back over to Donald Eng for a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, thanks, Kate. First of all, actually, it was a big day for names, actually, down south. But first, we're going to go all the way back to 1520. After sailing through the straits that now bear his name, Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan enters the Pacific Ocean with 3 ships, including the Trinidad there at Tierra del Fuego, the first European explorer to reach the Pacific Ocean from the Atlantic. To 1895 now, the first American automobile race takes place over 54 miles from Jackson Park in Chicago to Evanston, Illinois. Frank Duryea there with the bowler hat wins with a time of about 10 hours. Now, the race was intended to highlight the growing auto industry, in fact, but it faced challenges from the start. 80 cars entered, only 5 made it to the starting line. One competitor notably dropped out when a Chicago police officer stopped his car and forced him to requisition horses to pull it. 1942 now, Boston, Massachusetts, a fire in the Coconut Grove nightclub kills 492 people. It is estimated there were about 1,000 people crammed into a space rated for 460. The fire led directly to fire code reform. Officials estimate that if there had been outward opening emergency doors instead of just the single revolving door at the exit, more than 300 additional people would have survived. The flames and smoke spread so quickly that rescuers reported some of the dead inside were still sitting on stools holding drinks. Finally, now we go to 1963 for this.
Air Force One touched down at the Cape Skid Strip, bringing President Kennedy on his third visit to America's spaceport. He was welcomed by Major General Leighton I. Davis, commander of the Air Force Missile Test Center, NASA Administrator James Webb, and NASA Launch Operations Center Director Kurt Debus. The president moved out quickly on his whirlwind tour, stopping outside the Saturn Blockhouse on Complex 37 for a Project Gemini briefing by Air Force astronauts Cooper and Grissom.
That, of course, was President John F. Kennedy visiting the Space Center at Cape Canaveral just a few days before his assassination in September. It was on this day in 1963, though, that President Lyndon Johnson signs an executive order changing the name of Cape Canaveral to Cape Kennedy in honor of the president that had set a goal of landing Americans on the moon. The change, by the way, was deeply unpopular in Cape Canaveral. Residents there lobbied 10 years to get the name changed back. NASA's Launch Operations Center at Cape Canaveral retains the name Kennedy Space Center. That is your look back in history for today, November 28th, and I'm Donald Lang.
Thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Governor Daniel P. Malloy announced yesterday that Connecticut's Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection has deployed 13 state troopers as part of Connecticut's ongoing efforts to assist Puerto Rico's post-hurricane recovery efforts. Now, those troopers, 12 of whom are fluent in Spanish, will be patrolling and providing security and traffic assistance in conjunction with the local police in Puerto Rico. Now, the crew departed Bradley Airport early Monday morning. Governor Malloy said, "I'm incredibly proud of the troopers that volunteered to assist the people of Puerto Rico in their time of need and wish them a successful tour of duty and a safe return home." Malloy said these deployments build upon Connecticut's major hurricane recovery support efforts, including the over 70 recovery missions engaged in by our National Guard. And more than a dozen Wilton High School tennis players packed the Board of Selectmen meeting at Town Hall November 20th to make it clear that they don't want pickleball lines painted onto their newly refurbished tennis courts. Now, pickleball, a combination of badminton, tennis, and ping pong, played on a court the size of a badminton court with a net similar to a tennis net but not as wide and with a large paddle and wiffle ball served underhand, has been growing in popularity over the past several years in Wilton. So much so that there is a pickleball court included at the basketball court at the Comstock Community Center. However, the tennis playing community does not want pickleball courts blended with tennis courts at Wilton High School or anywhere else. So the Board of Selectmen was asked to find a solution fair to both tennis enthusiasts and pickleball players. Well, the solution, according to a vote of the Selectmen made that night following a report from Parks and Recreation, is to paint pickleball lines on the upper parking lot of the Middlebrook School and to search for another town location for a dedicated pickleball court. And in other news, a report and reminder from the New Canaan Fire Marshal about properly disposing of fireplace ash this time of year. Now, Fire Marshal Fred Baker explained a fireplace ember can remain active for 5 days. And until then, if you must, ashes must be removed to a metal container with a tight lid for safe disposal. Now, the container then must be removed to an outside area away from a structure or anything combustible. Now, according to Baker, New Canaan has already experienced its first ash disposal-related fire where ashes were dumped into the woods, causing a small brush fire. Now, the New Canaan Fire Department is holding a free drawing for 4 metal ash disposal buckets, courtesy of New Canaan firefighters and Weed and Duryea. You can get more details at ncadvertiser.com. And men, women, and children from low-income families in the community will be provided with gifts from the Bridgeport Rescue Mission's holiday distribution at their main campus and mobile kitchens mid-December. Now, the mission is asking for the public to donate blankets and bedtime bags through December 16th. Now, bedtime bags are distributed to children and are filled with a book, stuffed animal, a washcloth, and soap, as well as a toothbrush and toothpaste. Now, no donations can be dropped off at the Bridgeport Rescue Mission's Donation Center. That's at 1069 Connecticut Blanket Avenue in Bridgeport. For questions regarding the blanket and bedtime bag donations, you can contact Patty Law at 203-333-4087. And the Turkey Bowl may be over, but Darien and New Canaan are competing once again. The New Canaan Community Foundation is holding a competition with the Community Fund of Darien for the most generous town. Now, that competition takes place today, which is Giving Tuesday, November 28th. The fund and foundation that receives the most donations wins, and residents are being encouraged to participate. Now, for details on how to donate, you can visit communityfunddarien.org, or you can also find out more at ncadvertiser.com. All right, we're going to throw it back over to Donald Eng now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Don.
Well, thanks, Kate. As you mentioned, the CIAC football playoffs are ready to get underway tonight. Before we break down the schedule for you, let's take one more look back at the Thanksgiving game, our 2017 Turkey Bowl highlights.
Alex Damel and Tyler Herget are the deep men to return. This Grant Morris kick, who will also do the punting this morning for the Rams. He's set, and we are underway from Stanford as Damel lets this one bounce over his head into the end zone for a touchback. And now we get our first look at the sophomore Peter Graham. Pryor, 1st and 10 from the 20, and they're going to let Grant throw as he flings one to the flats. It's intercepted. Ciancio jumped it, and he's in for a Rams touchdown. It will be a 24-yard attempt for Morse off the left hash. Carl Mazabris, the junior snapper, Will Rector in the junior holder. They've been good for the most part all year. Low snap collected. It is up and good from 24. And the lead now 10 with an 11-yard run on their first play from scrimmage. Since then, 4 penalties for a result of minus 22 yards. This time, though, they hit Arnone in stride, John, and he's got enough for the Rams' first down.
Great move by Arnone. I thought he was running the go all the way. And then Darien's got to find a way to stop this. New Canaan has to do just what they're doing right here.
As Shins heading for the front pylon, reaches to the end zone, touchdown!
The timeout, you've only got 10 in on your field goal unit.
Morse, a 44-yard attempt. He hit this against Pascack Valley earlier in the year. This one on its way, and it is good off the crossbar.
They don't give style points. The crossbar with a little assist. But that's 3 more and a 20-point lead for Darien. The way this win streak is ended, the way this is happening. But yeah, it's something you have to deal with. It's reality.
3rd down and 10. 3 seconds to go and an empty set for Hancock. Dropping back as he looks to his left, flings it over the middle. The fans have no interest, John, in waiting for this one to end as New Canaan has taken down number 1, Darien.
There you have it from Stanford's Boyle Stadium. That win made New Canaan the 4th FCIAC team eligible for this season's CIAC postseason. They will travel to Middletown tonight to take on the top-seeded Dragons in the Class L tournament. St. Joseph High School will host number 7 O'Brien Tech tonight at Trumbull High School. That quarterfinal matchup in Class S. And in Class Double-L, Darien will host its first ever tournament game under the lights under the new lights at their stadium there. Also in Class Double-L, the Greenwich Cardinals will host number 8 seed Fairfield Prep. All of tonight's games kick off at 6:30. Frank Granito, John Kovac, and Kevin Coleman will be live from Cardinal Stadium tonight with our coverage on the HAN network beginning at 6 p.m. That's going to do it for sports. Nutmeg Sports Update. Back to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Don. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following on your coffee break after this.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
Bankwell combines the best personalized service with high-tech banking features for our customers' convenience. We pride ourselves on being a strong community partner. You don't settle for average in anything else you do. Why settle for an average bank? Don't just bank when you can bank well instead. Visit mybankwell.com for more. Manfredi New Canaan is celebrating 3 exceptional years selling Rolex watches and fine jewelry to the Fairfield County community. We appreciate all our loyal clients and look forward to welcoming and helping you discover the perfect gift to celebrate life's most important occasions.
At Galt, we always put you first. As your full-service home heating partner, we provide expert delivery, installation, and maintenance for all your heating needs with knowledgeable, friendly professionals that give you peace of mind 24/7. Galt Family Companies, you first since 1863.
Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. Stratford police have made an arrest in connection with the Main Street robbery and shooting November 14th. Now this morning, 33-year-old Eric Chambers of Bridgeport was apprehended by members of the Fugitive Task Force as a result of a warrant issued for his arrest. Now Stratford police say the arrest stems from his involvement in a robbery that took place at 2399 Main Street in Stratford, in which a victim, a bartender, was shot. Now, the investigation and warrant were completed on November 21st, and Chambers has been charged with robbery in the first degree. He's also being held on a $250,000 bond. Now, police haven't released any additional details, but that robbery earlier this month happened at bar just before 7 p.m. The armed man demanded money, and a bartender complied and then was shot, causing serious injuries. You can check back to StratfordStar.com for updates on that story. And the Milford Police Department's Special Investigation Unit is investigating a missing teen and asking for the public's help. Isabella Bellatheus, a 16-year-old white female about 5'6", 130 pounds with blonde and strawberry blonde hair and blue eyes, was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, black leggings, and carrying a red purse. This was on November 25th in the afternoon in Milford. Now, Bella may be in the company of 19-year-old Kyle Godin of 100 Pond Lily Avenue in New Haven. Anyone with information regarding her whereabouts is asked to contact the Milford Police at 203-878-6551. And a Monroe man who suffered serious injuries after being thrown off of the Derby-Shelton Bridge during an altercation the night before Thanksgiving is now out of the hospital. Shelton Police and Fire Department responded to the bridge at about 1 a.m. Thursday morning for a report of a man in the water. Now, police and fire responded to the scene and found that 30-year-old man submerged. The victim's name has not been released. Officer David Eldridge swam out to the victim and pulled him to shore with the help of fire personnel. Now, Eldridge brought the male victim to shore, where he was then transported to Yale New Haven Hospital with serious injuries. Well, Shelton Detective Chris Nugent said the victim was released from the hospital over the weekend and required several stitches to wounds on his head. Now, an investigation revealed that an altercation occurred on the bridge and the victim was thrown off of it. Nugent declined to say whether any suspects have been identified, but police are aware that there were witnesses, and they're asking anyone with information to contact them at 203-924-1544. And Hearst, Connecticut media reports that 3 people have been arrested after allegedly stealing items from a Westport pharmacy and then leading police on a wrong-way chase on I-95. Westport police say that incident began around 2 a.m. Saturday when officers were dispatched to a report of a larceny at a pharmacy. Well, a description of the 2 male and 1 female suspects and the vehicle was provided to officers on patrol, one of whom found the car and tried to stop it. Well, that vehicle would not pull over, and officers pursued it to the entrance ramp of I-95. That vehicle entered the entrance ramp of exit 17, traveling the wrong direction, at which time the pursuit was terminated. Now, the vehicle was then observed driving over the grass area and continuing southbound on the highway. A Westport officer followed the car at a safe distance and saw it leave the highway in Norwalk before re-entering I-95 and going north. That was when state police began pursuing the vehicle. Well, with the assistance of Fairfield police, the vehicle was stopped on I-95 in the area of exit 24. The registration plate on the van was found to belong to a different car. Now, the driver, 34-year-old Amanda Belcher, and 1 occupant, 35-year-old Komar Style, were arrested at the scene and turned over to Westport officers. One of the suspects, later identified as 43-year-old Calvin Smith, fled the vehicle and dropped a bag of stolen pharmacy merchandise as he did so. Smith was later found by Fairfield police and detained for Westport officers. All right, taking a turn now, get one final look at the forecast with Donald Ain. Don.
Well, Kate, it's about as nice a day as you're going to get for late November. A high of about 50 degrees today, mostly sunny skies. Not too breezy on the first half of the day, at least. We will see some wind gusts picking up tonight into about the 30-mile-an-hour range as we approach kickoff in the CIAC State Football Tournament. Expect partly cloudy skies and mild conditions overnight, with a low only dropping down to about 45 degrees. Warmer again tomorrow, as we expect temperatures also into the high 50s. Plenty of sunshine during the day and wind gusts again increasing later, with gusts between 25 and 30 miles an hour. Mostly clear overnight tomorrow. Cooler out though. Temperatures will dip into the mid-20s. And on Thursday, not as warm, expected high about 42 degrees, and a mix of sun and clouds during the day. Increasing cloud cover into the late afternoon hours and evening, and a chance of some passing overnight showers as we head into Friday morning. That's going to do it for this weather update. We'll send it back to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Don. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. And of course, tonight starting at 6, the Greenwich Cardinals host Fairfield Prep in the first round of the Class XL tournament. Watch it all live on the HAN network. We'll see you tomorrow at 11. Have a great day.